It's that time of the day, y'all, where it's the Talking with Sue Ham show, a show that's inspirational, motivational, and offers a lot of good comedy. This is the show to help you jumpstart your day, jumpstart your life, jumpstart your year. So make sure you're tuning in and listening. Get ready, because here it is, the Talking with Sue Ham show. Hey guys in Radio Land, thank you once again for tuning in to the most motivational, inspirational show out there on the radio. At least according to me, Sue Ham, baby. I'm excited to be back here with you, and I'm excited for my guest today. Her name is Victoria Pendragon. Now, Victoria, she's an author of 3 books entitled Sleep Magic, Surrender to Success, and My 3 Years as a Tree. Her book, My 3 Years as a Tree, is a memoir detailing her 3-year healing journey through an incurable and fatal disease commonly called scleroderma. And I hope I got that right. But and the book also talks about her years of sexual abuse as a child. Victoria says the first 3 decades of her life could have defined her with her fatal disease and horrific childhood, but she opted for a better life, one with hope and light. Today, Victoria is here to tell us how her fatal illness turned her life around and led her to a dedicated mission to help others help themselves. Hey there, Victoria. Welcome to the show, honey. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Sue. I'm so happy to be here.
I am happy that you are here. When, I was reading about your story, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this story, it needs to be shared. People need to hear it so that they can realize that when you're told you are giving a fatal disease, it is not the end of the world. When you're going through stress, you're depressed, it is not the end of the world as long as you don't give up. Well, before we get into all that and give them all the juicy stuff, let's talk about your book, My 3 Years as a Tree. Why that title?
I called it My 3 Years as a Tree for a couple of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Scleroderma, which literally means, I think it's like rock skin.
Mm-hmm.
It turns your body inside and out into scar tissue. And one of the tests that they do to see how bad you are is they try to pinch your skin.
Uh-huh.
And at the ultimate height of the disease process, for me, it couldn't be done.
You're telling me they couldn't actually pinch your skin? That's how rock hard it was?
They could not.
Oh my God.
It was like trying to pinch a tabletop or something.
Ooh.
And so when it came to title the book, I thought, well, I had oftentimes drawn pictures, and you know how this is. For years, I had drawn pictures of myself as a tree,
mm-hmm.
with my arms as branches reaching up to heaven, and now I was a tree.
Wow. So you actually literally, before you got the disease, was actually drawing pictures of you as a tree?
Yes, in fact, I have one of the sketches is in the book itself of me as a tree before I was a tree.
And now your skin is hard like the bark on a tree. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
It was then. Now it's completely normal.
Okay. Well, what exactly is the book about, My 3 Years as a Tree?
It was about the process of diagnosing the disease in the first place,
mm-hmm.
because that took almost a year.
A year to diagnose the disease?
Yes.
Why so long?
Well, that happens with people who have autoimmune diseases a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because the symptoms are odd. In fact, one of the first doctors I went to told me, you'll like this, that I was getting old.
Now, what woman wants to hear that? Come on now.
For real. And I came from, my mother, at my age now, I'm in my 60s now,
mm-hmm.
my mother was going down water slides. Old did not look like that to me.
My goodness. Now, how old were you at the time?
I was 44.
That's not getting old.
I know.
That's getting refined.
Thank you.
So
I was angry,
uh-huh.
actually,
mm-hmm.
when they said that. And so it did take a long time, and it was kind of interesting because the doctor that finally did diagnose the condition had been a student of my mother's. She was a medical doctor and a teacher.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And it was one of her students who diagnosed me.
So when they gave you the diagnosis, and you said a year later, right? Is that correct?
Just about a year later, yeah.
Well, prior to that, let's back it up. Prior to them giving you the diagnosis, because you're going to almost a year trying to figure out what is going on with my skin. I know you said you were angry, but if you can, try to walk us through how you felt. What was your day-to-day day like? Explain to me how were you.
Regrettably, my day-to-day life was pretty much nothing but experiencing a massive amount of pain.
Mm-hmm.
It was everywhere, inside me and outside me. I could barely stand to have clothes touch my skin. It felt like I was on fire.
Wow.
It was horrifying, and I did consider committing suicide. Because there was no escape from this pain except for these drugs that the doctor would give me, but they were addictive, and I didn't want to do it.
So were you pretty much on your deathbed?
Well, I guess the doctors would have told you that I was.
Yeah, because I think I read on your website where it said the doctors told you were pretty much on your deathbed.
Yes, they did. They gave me 6 months to live.
6 months to live. When you heard that, immediately, I mean, if you can remember, tell me what was going through your head, what emotions were going through your body.
I'm not sure your audience wants to hear exactly what went through my head.
Well, let me preface your comment by saying this is a Christian station. So
I know that it is. But what went through my head was not a Christian comment. It had something to do with the doctor and what he could do with my diagnosis. I was angry, again. It was very funny. My instinctive response to people telling me bad news was that I would get angry because something inside me just knew that they were wrong.
Wow. So do you
to
think...
me, it felt like, okay, you're looking at this diseased, crippled, deformed body, because I was. I mean, it bent me up all over. And I thought, but that's not who I am. I'm this light spirit somewhere inside.
You know what's beautiful is the fact that you knew who you were. Because had you accepted the diagnosis, had you accepted who they were telling that you were, I probably wouldn't be having this interview with you right now.
I think that's true.
And let me ask you another thing. Do you feel like the anger is what gave you the passion to live?
That's an interesting question. And it may well have been. Interestingly, when I told my mother about my response, she said, "You're just like me." She said, "All I need is for someone to tell me that I can't do something, and I'll do it."
I love that spirit, though. That's how so many things have been accomplished. So many ideas have come to life because someone said they couldn't do it, and they were like, I bet you I can. Watch me do it. Watch me.
Yes, I think they call that righteous anger.
Yeah, I like that. I like that terminology. Never heard that. So, righteous anger. I'm extending my vocabulary today. Righteous anger. And it actually serves a great purpose. And in your
I think it is. I think it's what was behind the civil rights movement in this country. That's righteous anger at work.
Wow. Interesting concept. Never thought about it like that. I love being open to new perspectives, Love that. So, you get mad. The doctor says, hey, you're going to die in 6 months. And you didn't say, okay, let me set up the funeral arrangements. Let me get my house in order. You got upset and you said, no, this is not going to happen. But even with the anger, we know the anger doesn't stay always. When it resided, when it went away, what feeling overwhelmed you at that time?
I suppose it was a kind of a drive to investigate and see what felt good that I might do. Wow. I honestly, I was never afraid, but then I've never been afraid of dying. So it wasn't about death for me.
Right.
It was about comfort level. Because I honestly feel that we're put on earth to enjoy life. And sure, there are challenges that you meet, but heck, it didn't need to be that bad.
Now, you also mentioned that, ironically, for no reason, in the 4 years preceding the diagnosis of your disease, you'd been compulsively reading everything you could get your hands on about the mind-body connection. Do you feel like that was predetermined for you? You understand what I'm trying to say? You feel like the reason you were sharpening your skills or becoming stronger as a spiritual being is because deep down inside you felt like maybe something was on the way. I don't believe in coincidences. Do you understand what I'm trying to ask?
Oh yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe in coincidences either. In fact, just this morning on my Sleep Magic page on Facebook, I wrote that. Synchronicities, coincidences, no, none of this is valid. It's vibration. It's coming from somewhere, these kinds of things. I referred to a lot of my experience in that healing time as that I was rocked in the hand of God.
I love that.
And I literally felt it one day, which is where I got the phrase from, because one of the nights when I was in the experimental medical treatment that I ended up getting, that appeared out of nowhere for me. I was in the bed. It was night. It was dark. It was in a hospital, so it's not entirely restful or quiet there.
Right.
And all of a sudden, in this hard, nasty hospital bed, I felt like I was being rocked like a baby. And I identified that as rocked in the hand of God. And then I thought, this is it. I have been and am rocked in the hand of God.
So you weren't startled. You just felt a calming feeling?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's amazing. Amazing.
It was. It's one of the most treasured moments of my life.
And, Victoria, I just have to tell you, your story is just really touching and moving to me, to be in the, almost 45, middle 40s, and to then have this disease that actually turns your body rock hard from the inside out, and to go almost a whole year before you even know what's going on, and to still have the drive and the will to live. That to me is just amazing. And I'm so glad that you are here on the Talking with Sue Ham show sharing your story, because we have people out there that want to give up, that want to be a victim to their circumstances or their environment. And when they hear your story, hopefully they'll realize that, listen, it's not as bad as I think it is.
Well, hopefully they'll have hope. That's why I go out and talk about it. It's why I've written my books, because that hope, it's there. I think it's inherent in life to live. The drive to live is, to me, stronger than the drive not to.
I love the fact that you're about spreading hope, and the fact that you have the desire to live even after being given the diagnosis, a fatal disease, told that you were going to die in 6 months. Well, listen, guys, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Talking with Sue Ham show, where my guest is the author, Victoria Pendragon. And after the break, she's going to let us know what actually went down after 6 months had gone by. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 talk show in the world, the Talking with Sue Ham show.
Got a great product, service, book, event, business, or music you want to share with the public? Then let Sue Ham help you advertise on TV, radio, social media, and the internet. Call 843-230-0175 to get your business, services, books, events, and products on TV today. Or visit us online at www.sueham.com. That's sueham.com.
Grand Central Station Restaurant is redefining your dining experience. If you're in the mood for the likes of a steak, ribs and shrimp, or if you're simply wanting an American burger and flavored wings, then Grand Central Station Restaurant is the place of choice. With plenty of room and a beautiful ambiance, Grand Central Station Restaurant is perfect for your class reunion, birthday party, bridal shower, wedding anniversary, and so much more. For our menus and daily specials, please visit us online at grandcentralstationkingstree.com or call us at 843-355-0078 to take advantage of our curbside assistance. Next time you're in Kingstree, make your next destination Grand Central Station Restaurant. Let us redefine your dining experience.
All right, you are listening to the Talking with Sue Ham show, and I'm your host, Sue Ham, baby. And we are back with my guest author, Victoria Pendragon. Victoria, I'm glad you're still here with me.
Oh, yes. I wouldn't leave you.
Oh, I love that. Come on, that is so beautiful. You have such a calming voice, too. I like that.
Thank you.
That. So right before the break, we're talking about the disease. You had scleroderma. Scleroderma. Did I say that right?
Derma.
Scleroderma, which is a disease that turns the body rock hard, the skin rock hard from the inside out. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, the doctors told you had 6 months to live. You know, it took them a year almost to diagnose what exactly was going on with you. You were told this at 44, correct?
Yes.
And how old are you now?
I'll be 66 in a couple of weeks.
Shut your mouth. What are you doing here? The doctor,
having a good time.
The doctor said that you were going to be dead in 6 months, and here it is, what, 22 years later?
Yes.
Come on, tell us about it. What happened?
Well, again, back to being rocked in the hand of God, I developed on my own something that the Buddhists had been doing for hundreds of years that I didn't know about, and which was that I had to distract myself from the pain because I wouldn't take drugs. So I had to rise above that pain, and I began to just put my mind on whatever it was that I was doing or looking at as much as I could. And when random thoughts about the pain or anything would come in, I would go, no, back. If I was washing the dishes, I'd go, okay, back, there's the water, there are the bubbles, there's the soap coming off, it's going down the drain, just that. And because it helped me so much, when I heard about a chronic pain group that was opening up near me, I called the woman who ran it, and I said, I think I've got something to share with everybody, this thing I call active meditation. And she said, oh, by all means. And I went to the group and joined the group, and at the first meeting of the group, they had their medical board there. And when the show was over, and I had presented my little piece on my idea for lessening pain, this doctor came up to me and introduced himself, and said that one of his patients had scleroderma.
Wow.
And that he was part of a medical program at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital, and that if I would like to be part of that program, he would write me a letter of recommendation.
Get out of here.
Yeah. This is what happens when you help other people. They help you right back.
Will you say that again? Because I try to yell that from the treetop. Say that one more time.
When you help other people, they help you right back.
Oh, my goodness. Because when you're helping other people, you're essentially helping yourself.
Yeah, it turns out that way, yes.
So go ahead with your story.
Certainly, I had no intention when I went to that meeting of doing anything but helping other people. And I walked out of there with a letter that was going to change my life.
Wow.
And I knew it.
That's just amazing. And I use that word so much, amazing, but that's the only word I can come up with because I'm just so taken aback by the phenomenal stories that I hear week after week after week. And so it has changed your life. And I love the fact that you said whenever you started to feel pain, you would take the focus off the pain and focus on what was actually happening.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a thing where change your thoughts, you change your life. Because if you're sitting there and you're thinking about pain, that's what you're going to magnify. You're going to bring more of that to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to think happy thoughts. Think happy. Think happy thoughts.
And focus. If you focus on even ordinary things, it takes you away. If you focus on really good things and beautiful things, there you go.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, now let me say this to you. Focusing on happy things, I got to go back to your childhood because I see here that as a child, it had to have been hard to focus on happy things because from what I can tell, you experienced sexual and physical abuse as a child from your grandfather and then from your father.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. And at that time, were you able to experience happy thoughts to just get yourself out of that situation?
Well, as a child, of course, you don't have the kind of resources available to you mentally that you do as an adult.
Right.
Because an adult, you can think rationally, and my abuse began well before my ability to think rationally began. However, built into my body, and I don't know if everybody does this automatically. I know a lot of people do because I've heard a lot of stories about abuse victims, but I simply left my body and went above. In fact, I went into the ground and up into the trees, which is why I later was drawing pictures of myself as a tree. But that's what I did, and doing that, I escaped it. And I cannot say that I had a happy childhood. I was a thoughtful child.
Right.
And kept to myself. I hid a lot. I spent a lot of time in closets reading books because I tried to hide. But I did, the distraction factor comes in.
So, I mean, as a child, you go through this, and then you go up into an adult. And I also read in your book where you said that, you ventured into promiscuity because of your upbringing as a child. And then eventually you got married, but you became divorced, and you lost your children.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
That was the worst thing that ever happened to me. That, for me, was worse than the abuse. Because my children were the only people in my life that had truly loved me.
Wow.
And I lost them because their father threatened to tell them everything about me. All the promiscuity, all the bad things I had done, all the sneaking around. And I thought to myself, they will hate me.
Wow.
They will hate me. Wow. And I thought, I can't have them hate me. And I said, all right, take the children.
Oh, my goodness.
Because you at least are stable. At that time in my life, I felt very unstable mentally. I was out of control with promiscuity, completely out of control. I knew that I could not control my behavior.
What actually got you to the point where you could control it? Because I know it's not a problem for you now.
Scleroderma.
So the disease that came upon you that was supposed to take your life actually saved your life.
You bet it did.
My. Isn't it funny how things work out?
Oh, yeah. That'll turn your mind right around.
And I got to tell you, I love your spirit, your sense of humor about this whole thing, because a lot of times we get bad news when we want to get depressed and stick our head in the dirt. And, but you've just got a great sense of humor about it. And I think with life, you have to have a great sense of humor.
Agreed.
Man, I'll tell you. Well, for somebody out there that is going through sexual abuse and they're being made to feel, or somebody that's dealing with promiscuity, and they're being made to feel, dirty or just less of a person, what would you say to them right now?
I would say to love yourself. To love yourself, love your flaws, love them. And to love them, of course, doesn't mean that you think they're okay necessarily. When your child does something awfully wrong, even though you correct it, you still love it. And I think that's the bottom line, is loving yourself. And, well, ideally, share it with somebody, even if it's, and pardon this expression, only God.
Right.
I don't mean that in a diminutive way.
Right.
But a lot of people, God exists for them, but they don't take advantage of the fact.
No, that is so true. I was like that. I was like that. And I've never heard anybody put it like that. God exists, but we don't take advantage of that.
Yeah.
That's profound.
There's somebody to talk to. He's heard it all.
He knows it all.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're going through sexual, physical, mental abuse, listen, you're not alone. Pick up the phone and call someone. There are hotlines, or just get on your knees and talk to God.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there for you, and I want you to know it's not your fault. You can do something about it. Well, Victoria, before we let you get out of here, please tell my listeners how they can connect to you, get your book, and just learn more about meditation and the sleep magic, the remedy you have to help fix your life.
Happily. I have a website which is easy to remember because it's my name. So it's victoriapendragon.com. And the technique that came out of my experience with scleroderma, I call sleep magic. And it is for healing at the core level of your being. It has transformed my life.
Mm-hmm.
It has allowed me to be a happy person, to be a peaceful person. And I tried regular therapy, but for the amount of abuse that I had endured, it just didn't go deep enough.
Wow.
Sleep magic does, and it's good because, I think it's good because it costs you $12 to buy a book and you don't have to spend $90 a pop on therapy.
To sit on somebody's couch, huh?
Uh-huh. I mean, it's good to have some outside input always, but anything you can do yourself and you can do every day, that's awesome.
That's right. So listen, if you're dealing with issues, you want to give up on life, or you're out there, you've been physically, sexually, or mentally abused, or you just need some encouragement, get Victoria Pendragon's new book, Sleep Magic. It works wonders. And instead of you paying $90 an hour to sit on somebody else's couch, get the book for $12 and sit on your couch.
Okay, I'm going to use that.
and begin to heal from the inside out. Make sure you go to her website. That's Victoria Pendragon. That's Pendragon.com. And you're on Facebook, right, Victoria?
I am on Facebook. Sleep Magic is there. I am there. Friend me. I love friends.
Oh, I love friends too. So you've heard it from my guest author, Victoria Pendragon. Make sure you check her out. Victoria, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for a wonderful time.
Absolutely. Thank you for opening up and sharing your life with my listeners so that they can be better enriched, better informed, and motivated and inspired to go out there and get it and make it happen. All right. We will be right back with more of the Talking with Sue Ham show after this break.
You're listening to the #1 talk show in the world, the Talking with Sue Ham show.
Become a published author for less than $25. Have a book idea, poems to share, and creativity to spare, desires, dreams, and knowledge to pass along? You need the ebook Become a Published Author for less than $25. Available now at SueHam.com. That's SueHam.com. Don't dream about being a published author. Become one. Get the ebook Become a Published Author for less than $25 at SueHam.com. That's SueHam.com.
And we are back with more of the Talking with Sue Ham show. And I am so excited, thankful to have my guest, Miss Victoria Pendragon. She was such a bundle of joy, sharing such insight on how to recover from, being given a death sentence as well as suffering at the hands of sexual abuse. But she is a living testimony that we can still enjoy life to the fullest and live out our purpose. There are no excuses. Which leads me into today's tip of the week. If you have been physically, sexually, or mentally abused, there's help out there for you. Don't give up. It's not your fault. There are people waiting to aid you to help you get past this. And I wanted to give out the National Sexual Assault Hotline, and that number is 800-656-HOPE, HOPE. So if you're in that predicament, please go get you some help. And also want to encourage everybody, if you're in Lake City, make sure you stop by Fishnet Seafood and Cafe. This has been my time, ladies and gentlemen. I always want to encourage you to go out and get a great book to read, which is Don't Quit, Follow Your Dreams. You can get it at SueHam.com. But until next week, I want to encourage everybody to always live, learn, love, and laugh, baby. I'll see you guys next week. Hang on in there now.
Listen to previous episodes of the Talking with Sue Ham show at SueHam.com.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Talking with Sue Ham show. I hope you join us again next week. And please make sure you go to my website at SueHam.com, SueHam.com. Share the show with your friends and family, as well as leave me a question or a comment about today's show. I would love to connect with you, be your motivational speaker, talk to you. Just go to the website, SueHam.com. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week, same time, 5:30 p.m. on WPDT 105.1.